Good evening, friends. I hope you are all doing well. This evening I'm going to give you a quick look at a new knife that I have been carrying quite a bit lately. This is now a vintage Spyderco. I think most of us would consider it vintage. This is an early 90s model Spyderco Rescue. This is one of their Clipit knives. I'm not sure why I like this knife so much. I think it all comes down to ergonomics, but it's really an interesting knife. The first thing that obviously you'll notice is that it does have the rounded blunted tip. Again, this is their rescue knife. Spyderco still continues their rescue series of blades. They all feature that rounded tip. These are obviously used by first responders, people that work in that sort of field. This is obviously to prevent any accidental puncture. These knives are also very popular for those who work around water. It doesn't feature anything like the H1 or H2 steel. Again, this is pre H series steel Spyderco. This is early 90s, I think maybe around 1992. That's not exact, that's a guess. But I just thought I'd give you a quick look at it. The size of this blade, overall, it has a 3 3/4 inch blade, where the handle is not quite a 5-inch handle. I think it's technically about a 4 7/8 inch, with an overall length of about 8.5 inches. The thing I really like about this blade, along with its great ergonomics, is the weight. This is a very lightweight blade coming in at 2.5 ounces. It just feels really, really nice in the hand. It is the FRN material, obviously with a satin finish, fully serrated, and Spyderco serrations are just wicked sharp. They really are. I purchased this knife off eBay. Obviously it was considered, well, that's not obvious, but it was considered used. However, from what I could tell, however much it was used, it was taken care of very well, maintained very well. You could have convinced me it was a brand new knife when it was sent to me. So I was very excited to get it. It does, as I mentioned, have the FRN handle, and this is that pre-molded clip. This is something that after a few years Spyderco went away from, because they learned that this clip, while it's interesting that it's molded to the actual scales, they are prone to break, and when they break, you're sort of stuck. From what I understand, if you still have one of these knives that you do carry often, if this clip should break, I believe you can send it back to Spyderco and they will replace it for you. They'll drill and tap for a new metal clip to be attached to that if that should happen. The blade itself, no jimping, as you can see on the spine of the blade here. It is that early 90s Spyderco before they were really using a whole lot of jimping. This is smooth back here. It features the AUS 8 stainless steel, and those serrations are extremely sharp. I've not really had to do anything to the edge on this blade. I really like this a lot. Again, with that blunted tip, you know, it's not going to be something that you're going to prefer to have if you're looking for puncture. But that could also be a nice thing depending on what line of work you're in or what needs you have for an EDC blade. It features here in the middle, that cutout you see is listed as a shackle key. I suppose if you work in a marine type environment, that could be something that maybe you could find a use for. Lanyard hole here at the back, and as you can see, it says right there, it is the Clipit Rescue model. As far as speed and deployment, it's quick, about like any other Spyderco. Nice and smooth, about what you would expect. Lockup is good and sturdy. There's no play in that at all. Not one bit. So what else can I tell you? Again, it has that nice sheep's foot blade. The bi-directional checkering is something I really like on these early models. It's something that, again, they sort of went away from over the years, but I really like, it's something I just like in these vintage Spyderco models. The backside, as you see here, doesn't have any of that texturing. Totally smooth on this side. Makes it really easy in and out of pocket because all of this is smooth back here. Doesn't seem to have any drag or hang up, anything like that. Really nice. So it may not be something that is very exciting to a lot of people, but again, a lot of these older models, the original Enduras, the Dragonfly, the Delica, all that stuff, you know, I just find them really interesting. I found this on eBay for a very reasonable price. Again, it was obviously in very good condition, so I was pretty happy to pick this blade up. Something I think I'm going to continue to carry quite a bit. My needs, my work environment, it's very, very rare that I would ever need something that can puncture, more or less just something with a nice sharp edge, you know, that could be used to open boxes, things like that. What most of us use our knives for is really all I'm looking for. This does have a very, aside from it being fully serrated, it's sort of a non-threatening looking EDC blade because of that rounded tip, which, again, depending on where you work, could be nice. Just a really nice early 90s model Spyderco that I was happy to pick up, happy to add to the collection. One that I anticipate carrying quite a bit in the future. It does not have any liners, which again is something I really like with these early model Spydercos. There were no liners back in those days, so it cuts down quite a bit on the weight. You can just barely see, I don't know how well you can see through the camera here, but you can just barely see the back of the serrated part of the blade there through that shackle key, but the rest of it is pretty well nested up in there. You don't really see any of that. Don't know whether or not that matters to you guys, but just wanted to give you a good look. These are kind of rare. As of right now, I think there's only 1 or 2 folks that have posted videos or reviews of these, and again, I just think it's a really interesting piece of Spyderco history. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you next time.